Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be bringing back my first time watching series. I'll be checking out the movie Beetlejuice for the first time. Before I jump into the film, I'm going to give a quick overview of what I know about this movie, just leading up to checking it out for the first time. Then I'll go ahead, give it a watch, and we'll come back and I'll give you kind of my off-the-cuff review and thoughts on checking out the movie for the first time. So let's get ready. Let's jump into this one. So Beetlejuice, this is a widely popular film, and a number of people that I have talked to, especially recently with the sequel coming out, is it's one of their favorite just Halloween movies. I know it's not really a horror film. I actually kind of thought it was. Growing up, we didn't really watch anything horror related or mostly Halloween related, just growing up in a more conservative Christian household. And so over the years, as I've grown up and just moved out and, had my time to explore those kinds of films and be more interested in that kind of thing, I've really enjoyed it. So this is one that we just never watched growing up. It's one that I know stars Michael Keaton, as well as a number of other characters and actors in it. I always thought it looked to be, a bit of like a goofy kind of horror comedy type thing. But from what I've heard, it leans more just into the comedic side of things. I've heard it's one of, Michael Keaton's most iconic performances. Obviously, it's very popular in just kind of the zeitgeist of everything to do with Halloween. There's a lot of imagery that I'm familiar with from the movie just because of its popularity in pop culture. When it comes to Halloween decorations, Halloween costumes, all that kind of stuff. And being a Tim Burton film, you're gonna get that just iconic Tim Burton style to it. So I'm really looking forward to checking this one out, especially leading up to this. I've been telling a number of people I'm going to be watching it for the first time, and they're really excited to hear my thoughts on it. So that's pretty much what I know about this one. That's really not too much. I know it's because I've seen the trailer for the second one. I know it has something to do with he's this dark entity, maybe demon or something like that, who is accidentally brought into this woman's life, and she's sort of tricked into marrying him or something like that. So I think that's something to do with the premise or the setup for it. We'll see, obviously, as I go ahead and check out the movie, but that's really all that I know about it. I don't know too much beyond that. Like I said, I know it's a Tim Burton film. I know it's an iconic Michael Keaton one. The iconic imagery of the movie that kind of contributes towards the Halloween fall type season and vibe. So that's really all I know about this one going in. I'm looking forward to it. So here we go. This is my first time watching
Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
All right, so that was Beetlejuice. I'd always find it interesting going back and watching a movie like this that's heavily popular in pop culture and just something that's so like iconic, and you really end up knowing more about it than you think you would, even having not seen it before. I thought the movie was good overall. Obviously, I'm not coming at it from the nostalgic angle. This was my first time watching the movie, so I mean, I appreciated what it was. I love the practical aspect of things. I thought all of the miniature stuff was really cool, and the characters were all unique and interesting, and they each followed the cool kind of tropes and stereotypes that would come with the type of movie that this one is. I do feel like the story was a little bit lacking. I didn't feel like there was too much on the story side of things. I did really like the chemistry from Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin with Winona Ryder's character. I thought that their story was the most interesting of the movie, and obviously that is the main story of the movie. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice was it was fun. I mean, I didn't think it was the funniest character that I've ever seen. I did enjoy the performance enough. It was unique. I liked the fact that he wasn't like heavily utilized in the movie. He's just kind of like there as like it's a part of the story and definitely a pivotal part to it. But the main story does focus on Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin's characters with Winona Ryder. I have heard with the new sequel movie that Beetlejuice is featured very heavily throughout the film, and some people have said too much so. So I do kind of like the fact that, you know, he's only in the movie for so many scenes here and there. Like I said, I didn't find the humor all too funny. I don't know if this was supposed to be on the more comedic side of things. I only really laughed a few times throughout the movie, but overall, I did enjoy it. It's one that I'd probably rate it at somewhere around a 6 to a 7 out of 10. It was good. It was good enough. I had some fun with it. I thought the world building was really cool. There was a lot of really unique designs within this world of the afterlife, I guess you would speak, with the office of the caseworker that they went to. I forget the woman's name, but like all of that kind of stuff was really cool and interesting. And like I'm just, like I said, I'm a huge respecter of like a practical side of things, so I really like that they went and built all of those sets and those different locations and stuff like that. All of the really just out there unique Tim Burton type things that they got in this movie, I think it worked really well. So it is cool to see his aesthetic not only work in the stop motion side of things with his film A Nightmare Before Christmas, the one that he produced, but getting to see it in the live action as well, and that it works so well. And this one was a cool kind of mix with it being a combination of miniature work with that live action full scale side of things too. Like I said, I thought the characters were decent. Their performances were really good. They each had this quirky, fun energy to them. I mean, the movie was interesting in that like it was very dark at times with the imagery and some of the themes that it was focusing on. It was definitely a movie that revolves around the themes of death and the afterlife and what people view that as, people, and how that, you know, perspective is kind of shaped and explored throughout this movie. So I thought it was interesting enough thematically. All of it definitely worked for what made for an overall entertaining movie. I think it's definitely a product of its time, and even though we have this sequel that's come out and since, you know, been overall pretty well received, I think it's interesting to look at it from a perspective of when this came out, you know, there was nothing around this kind of thing, and now it's hugely a part of the culture and the season when it comes to fall and Halloween and stuff like that. So again, overall, I thought it was a good movie. I don't think it was anything overly spectacular. Probably not wanting to be jumping to get added to my collection to be checking out all the time. I wouldn't mind watching it again. Probably. I enjoyed it enough. I'd probably give it a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10, somewhere around there. So those are my thoughts on the movie Beetlejuice. I would be curious to know if you're like me, maybe you are just checking this out for the first time, or maybe you're like me several minutes ago when I hadn't seen this movie before, or if this is one of your favorite, you know, movies to check out every time, every season this time of year. I'd love to hear you share your point of view on it in the comments down below. Thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one.